Good morning. Buenos dias. I hope you are well, staying positive and focused on what you can control. Welcome to Cafecito con HACE and happy Black History Month. This year, HACE, we are celebrating advancing positive impact where momentum meets opportunity. So stay in touch, stay connected to learn what this means, not only for our upcoming National Leadership Summit and award celebration, but what this means for us year round as it pertains to advancing positive impact with employee equity, advancing positive impact with advancing careers, advancing positive impact with social impact. So stay tuned, continue to engage with us to learn more and use this platform, use this opportunity to network, to engage with one another. Let us know where you are tuning in from. Use this opportunity in the chat, the comment section to get to network and connect with one another. My name is Patricia Mota, and I serve as president and CEO of HACE, a national nonprofit whose mission since 1982 is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the community of Latino talent, providing the insight, access, and support to be successful in their careers. And a few key announcements before I share and announce my special guest today is applications for our upcoming programs. So for students and early career, mid-career professionals, we have our El Futuro High School program, a unique cohort that's being offered for students in the Arizona area. And so this is free. Students get a stipend to participate and get access to career readiness, career exploration, college readiness, their next step. And so learn more about the El Futuro High School program on the HACE site in terms of how folks can engage. And for our professionals, whether early career, mid-career, a few options that are available. Our Mujeres de HACE, our Latina Leadership Program, our HACE Colores, our inaugural LGBTQ plus cohort, and Elevando Leadership Program. So you can learn more. The deadlines are coming up, so make sure to check out the HACE website for that and to apply. And if you have questions in terms of getting support or financial support to participate as well. And lastly, our National Leadership Summit and award celebration is taking place April 25th and 26th in Chicago at Convene in the Willis Tower. We are looking forward to have amazing content for you, networking opportunities, and to see you in person. And so would love to jump in, and please join me in welcoming in to our HACE Familia, Monica Maize, who serves as our HACE HR manager. Good morning, Monica. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So we've got folks tuning in that want to get to learn more about who Monica is and hope that you're just as excited as we are to have her part of the HACE team. But first thing is first, as we ask all of our guests, is Monica, tell us, how do you like your cafecito, your coffee, or your morning beverage of choice?
Well, coffee, I love it with lots of sugar and lots of creamer.
Lots of as she takes a sip.
Yes,
Lots of
lots of
sugar,
sugar. Yes,
lots of
lots of
flavor. I
sugar.
know a lot of folks can relate in the chat, in the comment section. So those of you tuning in, we want to hear from you too. How do you like your cafe, or what is your morning beverage of choice? As we've learned over time, not everybody drinks coffee as well. I love my coffee. Monica, so here we go. We're gonna ask you, as I love to share with our guests here. Tell us who you are, your culture, your professional background, and how you got to ASIT today.
Well, I am African American. I'm born and raised in Baltimore. My career began with the U.S. Army back in 2003. I started out with logistics for about 7 years, and then I changed over to human resources, talent acquisition. I had tons of fun as a recruiter for the Army. And a fun fact about like my ethnicity, when I first joined the Army, a guy asked me what was my ethnicity, and I said, you know, I was stumbled, and I was like, I'm black, so I didn't know that I looked different until later on, as my career went on in the Army. I got the question on multiple occasions, but I am African American. And like I said, my career began in the Army, so that's where my human resources experience began.
And I know we're all thinking it. So, Monica, thank you for your service. I know we got a shout out from Melinda and our team, the Go Army, and folks that are tuning in. And so we're super appreciative to not only for your service, but to have you on the asset team. But we want to learn more in terms of, you said you worked as talent acquisition manager, where you cultivated relationships with several organizations, nonprofit, local communities across the US. One key thing that we love to share is tips and nuggets in terms of folks in their career trajectory. So, can you share how developing those key relationships have impacted the way that you mentor and support the development of others?
So, being in the United States Army, we're like extremely diverse. We have so many different cultural backgrounds from everywhere, not just the United States, but Guam, Puerto Rico, even though that's a U.S. territory, but we do so many different cultural backgrounds. And what that has done is made me like extremely flexible, extremely open-minded whenever it comes to communicating with others, because first you have to understand an individual needs and you have to respect their culture. It's extremely important because if you don't respect someone, especially their culture, then you won't make it very far, especially when you're trying to mentor or provide any type of leadership to them. It's extremely difficult to mentor someone when you don't understand or understand their needs or don't respect their culture. So ultimately, I think showing respect, despite how your individual outlook is, it'll help you make a positive impact on many different people that'll last forever. So that's what I took. I took all of my diversity and equal opportunity leadership skills. And I was able to build those relationships to help me be a positive mentor for those that I came in contact with while I was doing recruiting.
Hmm. And I know a lot of folks, because mentoring is such a hot topic. Not only do we talk about that a lot during our professional leadership training programs, but we also, when we're out and at conferences and events, then whether it's for myself or whether others that are speaking, that is a top question: is how do I get a mentor? How do I access connecting with a mentor? And I think what you shared regarding, respect in terms of to the mentee as a mentor, but it goes both ways, right? If you are also looking for that mentor, is like, how are you meeting that individual, possible potential mentee or mentor, where they are? And it starts, I think, for me, I would say a lot of curiosity, right? Asking good questions and genuinely having an interest in wanting to learn about that individual's background, how they got to where they are. What were some of their key challenges? And so I think that, with what you shared, you're sharing a lot of that, because that's key, and it has to be authentic and it has to be genuine. And so think about that for those of you tuning in as you're thinking about being a potential mentor or mentee. Monica, anything else that you would add on that?
Just like you said, respect goes both ways. So you respecting their culture and obviously them respecting you, but just having just a clear understanding of what your intent is. I think that definitely helps a lot. So respect
Absolutely.
both ways.
Absolutely. So we've got folks still tuning in. I see people sharing their cafecito, their locations, information. So continue to engage. Again, we want you're all part of the Asset Familia, the Asset Network. No matter what your background is, no matter where you're from, we want to make sure that everyone feels included and part of these conversations. And so we are talking with Monica, who is our new HR manager at ASE. And so, Monica, my next question for you is, you also served as a career counselor for youth and young adults. And we also get to work with youth and young adults at ASE. So what advice do you have for companies to be able to create clear pathways to advance youth and effectively carry out the DEI initiatives to create more equitable opportunities for all communities, but specifically in this case for our young adults?
Well, a lot of things. I always go back to the Army because I served for 20 years. But what we've done and what I've seen as far as culture is teamwork, coming together as a team, being one, treating everybody, creating a clear pathway, ultimately treating everybody with dignity and respect, being fair, with everyone. So youth, young youth, they need a purpose. And oftentimes I've discovered that sometimes when you give someone a purpose, you can gain their commitment. And when you give them a purpose, they ultimately want to continue to fulfill those dreams. So just providing a clear pathway to success, basically knowing where you want to end. So if you have an end state that you want to be in, you create you a plan to get to that end state. So I do understand that, not all times can you have a clear pathway, but I think having a blueprint or a plan is essential whenever you're trying to accomplish anything in life. So I've mentored like so many different people on how to advance in their careers in the Army. And I'm forever proud of the ones who actually do what I say because I've created them a plan. I gave them a blueprint and I've let them know. And I believe that this is important for companies as well, is because some people think that you give them the end state, but you don't have to put any work. So it's extremely important that the individual knows and that the company and the people, the mentors, that they are letting them know that you have to do the work. So I give you the plan and it's up to you to execute the plan. So if you execute the plan, then the end result will be favorable, to you. So I've done that, and when I see the accomplishments of those who I've mentored, and it's an amazing feeling. So I would encourage that if companies are trying to create some clear pathways for the youth, it's just giving them an end state, giving them a pathway to get there, and just kind of sometimes monitoring them throughout their process definitely
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
helps.
Pathways, career pathways, opportunity pathways is a big best practice, and I know it's trending not only in for various roles, but also as it pertains to I've heard a lot in the apprenticeship space as well,
Mhm.
and being able to provide opportunities so that youth see that potential steps to get to where they want to go. But something that you said that's really, really important at the very beginning was around purpose. And I think that in today's day and age, not only has that been talked about regarding our youth, our Gen Z, and that they're prioritizing that as it pertains to any job role that they're looking for. They're like, if I don't feel like this is meaningful and there's a sense of purpose, that that this is an inclusive environment, then typically more than and I'm generalizing, but more than other generations are more likely to leave or look for other opportunities where they are feeling. But I will say all generations, included in this day and age in corporate America or in various aspects, are seeking for purpose and meaning more than ever before. Like that has been a topic of conversation in so many aspects. And I think that that's critical for all employers, for all individuals to reflect on how are we creating that space. Even if you're in a finance and accounting role, how are you creating that space to understand that that employee has meaning and purpose for your organization? And so I think that's super critical. So all of you all joining in, we're opening it up for any questions. We see some comments and questions that have popped up. And so we'll take one or two before we wrap up. And we see our colleague, Bernice, who leads our Mujeres de Asset program. She's asking, what's the biggest challenge you've heard while mentoring?
For me, mentoring, especially for youth, and then I'll go back to understanding cultures. So if you try to mentor, I'll say a kid or a youth, um, but the parents don't fully understand, then you won't be able to get to them. So I think understanding their culture, their family dynamics, and how they're set up, and even influencing those parents, those influencers. So getting those influencers involved sometimes in the mentorship can be a great success for you. Because you can mentor a youth, but if the youth is still depending on their parents or depending on someone else, then you'll have a difficult time, especially if they feel something different. So I think that was the biggest challenge is not getting everyone involved to include influencers or parents.
Great, great. So we've got a few more minutes. I think we got one more question that popped here from our other colleague, Lisandra. With your HR background, what are some tips that you would share on how HR can support employees seeking mentorship or sponsorship?
Well, I would say just initially, just I guess kind of pairing with something that's similar to you, not afraid to ask questions. Um, I would say research yourself because sometimes mentorship, it doesn't come and look for you. You have to sometimes seek it out. So just being like a self advocate for yourself, knowing sometimes what you want. Once you know what you want, sometimes you're able to find what you need. Um, and you can ask questions. So I think that a lot of times whenever it comes to mentorship, having relationships amongst other people, communicating with those other people is a way to kind of connect you with other people that you would never be connected with initially. Just like when I joined, I say I didn't know that they had scholarship opportunities for youth, and I was so intrigued about what programs they offered. And once I found out that they offered, youth mentorships for the development of their future, I got on the phone with some of my Army colleagues, and I'm like, hey, you guys know about this? So networking is also a great opportunity to help you provide, get mentorship because you never know who you know or who someone else know unless you talk to them. So I think that that's extremely important in developing yourself.
Yeah, no, all great nuggets. You talked a lot about too self-advocacy, which is so critical. I think is sometimes if we've got to be drivers of our own careers, drivers of our own destinies, and part of doing that is yeah, having that perhaps the pathway and the end goal, being flexible with that because lives change, things change, right? Personally and professionally, but also then building that network of folks that you're tapping into, asking questions and leveraging community, building community. I say yes, we are an organization, but I see us building community in the programs that we offer, where it's building those networks where it becomes our safe space. It becomes the individuals that we don't feel so shy about asking, which we shouldn't, but we understand that sometimes it's a little more challenging for some of us than others, and ensuring that we can empower ourselves and others to ask, like, hey, would you be interested? Would you have time for a cafecito so I can ask you some questions or pick your brain on a couple of things? Or can you connect me to so and so? And so, I know we all get it all the time. I get it. And we're more than happy to support, right? More than likely the answer is yes, or maybe later, but at least, or not, if they're not able to, then at least you tried, right?
Mhm.
So I think that self-advocacy is key. And then Monica, you mentioned the work that you're doing, like with your network, and those of you tuning in like she did, she's like, hey, you might be interested in this program, like get the word out there, because we're in the business of sharing, growing, and with resources with one another. And so,
Mhm.
Monica, we've got 2 minutes left. I have to ask, as I always love to do, since we are um almost near the end of February, which is like boggles my mind, but
Mhm.
what are you most hopeful for 2024?
Well, I am hopeful for, I guess, I want to transition myself into the civilian sector. So I say has helped me do that. So just for me, just becoming a civilian, and transitioning into civilian life is something that I'm hopeful for, and spending time with my family,
Mhm.
spending time with my friends more time than I was able to before, and just growing. If I can help grow, I say, I definitely, that's on top of my list. So getting the word out to spread word, and just growing in itself.
Wonderful growth, um new, right? You're embracing the new, right? And challenges, new challenges, and then family, which is so important for a lot of us, and being able to really have time to spend with those important relationships in our lives. And so, Monica, those of you who are joining us in the chat, continue to engage, to network with one another. Please help me welcome Monica to the HACE Familia, because as if you just joined us, she's our new HR manager on the HACE staff, and we're super thrilled to have her. So please make sure that you get some time to thank her, welcome her. And so, Monica, thank you so much for joining us. I had a lot of fun getting to chat with you in this format. And to all of you joining us, hasta la próxima. Until next time. Take care, everyone.
All right, bye.
Bye, Monica. Bye-bye. Thank you.